marathon runners. The guy that won the New York Marathon last year was wearing these.
No, they're worn by. No, I have got a pair, and I do find them quite comfortable. But I don't wear them all the time because it's just a sign of a certain stage of life. Shall we say?
Presently, because of a very serious sports injury that I acquired a number of years ago, there is an arthritic effect upon that. And until I get a jab into the foot, which I'm organising, it can be quite sore. The Hokas relieve that pain and enable me to run faster away or after people.
A cortisone shot?
Yeah. It's a cortisone shot into the ankle. I got it done a year and a half ago. It was really, really good.
Yeah, but the reality is,
here's Rebecca.
And there's Rebecca now. She didn't get the message.
Yeah, push it in.
Yeah,
push it in and close the door.
She's pushing in, coming into the episode.
Okay. So yeah, quick cameo there by Rebecca.
I've been signed up to do the Lord of the Rings. No, not the Lord of the Rings. The Ring of Kerry.
The Lord of the Rings.
The Lord of the Rings cycle.
Is that what you were ringing the guy about to meet him tomorrow?
Yeah, the Lord of his cycle. That'd be great with the Lord. Oh yeah. Hey, dirty.
I wasn't going there, but you took it that way.
Well, I'm certainly not going there. But I have to do the Ring of the Kerry cycle, so it's going to be yeah.
So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
But on other news, right?
This is
no, not even that.
Oh, what?
I think we should be opening all our podcasts discussing Sam Altman and OpenAI.
Yeah. So this
Sam, we want to talk about you a lot.
Well,
what's that now?
I follow this other podcast called The Rest is Entertainment, right? Really good podcast. And they were talking about
Richard Osman.
Yeah, and the girl, she writes for The Guardian and stuff like that.
Who would be a lady? You're not allowed to call them girls.
Can you not call them girls anymore? There's a young'un. This is Richard Osman and a birdie, right? A bird, this and a bird.
Richard Osman does not sound like somebody who would be selling, clothes in an East End market.
In East Enders. But anyway, so they're talking about coming up on the show. Wait till we tell you about the craziest sale of a podcast. It's relevant for us. So they got to it and they were talking about Sam Altman and they were talking about these two guys do a podcast. It's called TTRN, something about tech, AI talk or whatever. Not the biggest podcast in the world by any extremes, especially in the US. Getting about 30 to 40,000 downloads, which in the US isn't huge.
Similar to us.
Altman rings them up and goes, I think you're talking about us a lot. I'd like to buy the podcast. They went, no, we're independent. And he went I'll give you 50 million. Nah, go away. We're independent. I'll give you 200 million. You own us now. 200 million for a podcast. And he said he won't get involved with anything. If they still want to slag him off and his companies, he won't take any sort of editorial stance. Me arse. But yeah, 200 million.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. And he's in for an awful lot of grief at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Like the Washington or the Washington Post or the New York, which one of is it Washington Post? Yeah.
Well, it's from one of those towns.
Somewhere in America.
Yeah.
Issued a news article last week where they said that they had missed their sales number and they'd missed their profit number. And as a result, all these companies connected to OpenAI lost massive value. So it wiped off $500 billion of other companies last week. And now OpenAI spend 1.2 trillion a year. I mean, the whole thing is bonkers.
It is bonkers, isn't it?
But
they've been overtaken now by...
He's been pulled back into court today. He was being sued by all of those publishers today.
Really? All the AI publishers?
AI. Yeah, you saw that?
Who was that?
Zuckerberg.
New York Times. There's about 5 of them. I can get it for you for the after show, but I thought what you talk about Sam Altman, he's back in hot water and it's all connected to AI.
Yeah, I mean, look, Altman's in court with Elon Musk. I think he's probably going to lose that case. Musk's going to lose that case. But the whole issue from an ego perspective for Sam Altman and why I suspect he spent an awful lot of money on that podcast and Sam, we're here to be outraged by you and you can take us over whenever you want.
Certainly, Sam. Oh, hi, Sam. Love your work.
But what's interesting is his big ego problem here is the fact that Anthropic, which owns Claude, is now the number 1 AI provider in the world. So OpenAI is in second place. But these are still 2 of the biggest companies in the world. In the top 5 companies, these are 2 of the biggest companies in the world. And by any other measure, if you were measuring Sam Altman against any other company in the whole world, you'd be going, oh, Sam, you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
But because he lives in this Silicon Valley bubble, and the only thing he can compare himself to is the fellow who has a slightly better version of his
know.
company, it drives him demented.
It's like, I know we talked about it before, but have you been watching the new series, the John Hamm series of Friends and Neighbours?
Yeah, and I find it not as good. at
No,
all.
it's not. So there's
Yeah.
only like one thing happening in each episode,
Yeah,
and you have to wait.
I'm kind of bored, and I've stopped watching it now.
Okay.
I gave up on maybe the 4th episode.
Yeah, so you saw the one with the your woman that owns the yacht when he goes
Yes.
to the party. The fascinating thing is just, and I mean, it's obviously based, and Westchester is a place, I had a look at it on the map. It is based on these houses, which are just ridiculous. So one of the guys, an ex-NBA basketball star, and he opened up his new house. And the house upstairs is just, there might be 30 or 40 rooms. And downstairs, he has a basketball court in his house. They're just, and the boat that your woman is on, it's like the bigger the boat and the whiter it is, you're just telling people, I have this amount of money. And that's all it's doing. So it's a bit like the world your man lives in.
I think it is, but I think, comparison is the thief of
Baghdad?
happiness or something like that.
That was a good, that was a book.
It's a good book.
Yeah, it is. The thief of what?
Of joy.
Of joy. The
Oh,
minute
right.
you get into this whole comparison thing, right? But
Oh, yeah. That's why I got electric gates,
yeah, that's
which they
that
don't
is a
work.
funny
I
story.
have to climb over them.
They never work.
So
right?
no one could be jealous of you.
I got electric gates because I felt when I was doing this, when I was moving into Southside, I needed something that said, I'm in the Southside now, baby.
But most people who put electric gates up have massisk electric gates.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're sheltered, you're closed
Yeah.
off, nobody can get in. right?
Exactly.
But your electric gates,
Make no
basically, a
sense.
3-year-old could step over them.
No, you'd want to be about 9 or 10. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Do people do tours of your house? Like in the Hollywood Hills, like do you find buses stop at your house and look through? Because it's
Not
pretty easy with
really.
those electric gates.
Yeah, I find, yeah. Now, I do have a sign up saying Colm Hayes lives here, but it just doesn't seem to, get
No,
anything.
it doesn't attract anything.
I know. I need to extend up my gates, but they don't work anyway, so I have to climb over them.
But I think the US and money is just such a different space to us, right? I was with a client of mine who I picked up from Dublin Airport a few weeks ago, and he's an English guy, runs a business in New York and in Miami, and he's in his early 40s, and he's making $80 million a year.
See, you can't work that out, can you?
But that's what he said to me as well. He said, you can't work it out. And he said, it's not comparable because we don't have the capacity to make that type of money in Europe because the US is incredibly loaded in the favor of the wealthy, right? So the more money you make, the smaller your tax bracket is. Whereas in Europe, we tend to tax people the more they make. So these extraordinary levels of wealth are huge. And then when you've got 80 million coming in a year, you stop comparing yourself to the guys that you went to school with.
Yeah.
You're now comparing yourself to the guy who's got 150 million. And that's what's going on with Sam Altman, with Elon Musk. These guys are all competing against each other. But what I like about Anthropic, which owns Claude, is that they've said no to the Pentagon. And they don't get into this one-upmanship. They just get the product to deliver on the outcome.
Okay. Well, at the moment.
But we want to be bought out by Sam Altman.
Do we have an intro of the show yet?
Same parents, different timelines, and united by chaos. Strap on, strap in, for the not-so-Christian brothers.
Hi. It's not so Christian Butters. Not so Christian brothers. Why is Terry laughing? All I said was Butters.
And I made a horrible entrance because I only saw Terry's text now saying don't come in the middle of the podcast. So
I think
sorry.
we should. I think each week now somebody should have to make an entrance. It has to be a different entrance.
I
during
should have
the
come in
podcast.
disguise or something. Sorry.
And just to say, because a lot of people have been taken up on the Instagram page, so we all have our own Instagram pages, but a lot of stuff gets lost on it. So if you want all the stuff from the show, all the clips, all the info, go to Not So Christian Brothers, the Instagram page. Please like, subscribe, and I've been told by some of the team in the background that we may be having a competition very soon on that, so you may win yourself something if you're there.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I've been messaging people on our Instagram page.
Yes.
And they're real people.
No, they
Really
are.
watch the
compared to the people Sam Altman talks about.
I wasn't too sure. I thought
Oh,
we were
you
maybe
think
just paying people to
Yeah.
show up, but they appear to be. I've checked out. They're not bots.
But you're sending them some good stuff.
I'm sending
That's the
them.
first time he's ever got involved.
I'm sending them lots of love.
Yeah,
and
okay.
huge levels of appreciation. I posted about the show today.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
That's like a well done.
So we were going to talk about, actually, because Rebecca had mentioned, our producer Rebecca, about dirty talk in the workplace, let's call it, right?
Yeah.
But there was a case during the week in the BBC. I don't know if anyone saw it. Now, they're not saying who it is, but a presenter, male, and his producer, female, got into a bit of a conflab, possibly over situations and things that he said to her and she said to him. So he then grabbed her by the wrists, right?
I thought that was something that Terry was talking about earlier on.
No, grabbed her by the wrist. Crossed her. It was a very detailed explanation of what he did. Crossed her wrists, right, and then threw her to the floor, where she almost knocked herself out. And then he just walked away. Now it's in the report.
He would have knocked her out. She wouldn't have almost knocked herself out. That would have required her to be thrown to the floor and then maybe strike herself over the head with a hammer.
Women would do that for attention. But anyway,
Oh.
my
God,
both of them have since, the BBC have said both of them have since left the BBC, but not for the reasons that of the incident, but just for other personal reasons.
Rather
And
coincidental.
for that reason, because there's a lot of reasons here, because they've left, the BBC isn't compelled to tell us who they are. So everyone's now going down over who, and one of them is a prominent presenter.
So who's missing?
Scott Mills is one.
What?
But I don't think he'd throw a woman to the floor.
Wasn't he in trouble for...
He was in trouble for historical, an historical thing that happened about 10 years ago on the BBC, which wasn't properly reported.
Was that to do with somebody underage or...
Yeah.
Was it underage or of an age that was
Teen
just
boy,
young?
wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think they were of consensual age.
I think that's a tricky one.
Yeah, it's like I just watched the Channel 4 movie where Martin Clunes plays Hugh Edwards. Oh my God.
I actually couldn't watch that.
Oh.
Yeah, I couldn't watch that.
Too dark. I didn't do the whole lot, actually, by the way.
I find Hugh Edwards just a really decrepit human being.
But I mean, it's just bizarre that
I found him that way before.
Did you?
Yeah.
You knew.
No, I just
You
didn't like the
knew.
guy.
But he, Martin Clunes plays him absolutely brilliant. But it's just, I mean, it's just the control and the grooming and everything.
But hang on, Colin, remember the Russell Brand thing last week about
yes.
what's consensual? Like,
Yeah.
I think, don't they say between teenagers, sex is consensual age is
It's called the
fine.
Romeo and Juliet.
You know what I mean? The
yeah.
16, but if it's a 35-year-old with a 16-year-old,
Yeah.
it's kind of grim.
I think anybody who is, over, say, 25.
Oh, that'll be
who's-
me.
Who,
I need to listen now.
1925.
Hey.
Anybody who's
Oh,
over
God.
25
Yeah.
and is, in a relationship with anybody who is under 18 and you do not think you are weird, you need to poll this with a few friends and ask them, how do you think about my relationship
Yeah.
with the young John, Susan?
Okay, well, there was a certain presenter in RTE that lost his job because of that, and he was quite high profile. I'm not going to name, well, I suppose you could name, but I'm not going to name anyway. But it came out that in a previous radio station, when he was about 30, he was dating a 16-year-old.
Ooh.
Now, there was another case, and I'm not going to say when, where, or what it's about, but we all went, whoa, that's a bit weird. But there was a presenter, and his new girlfriend would come in the afternoon, and before they'd go out, she'd go into the ladies' changing rooms and change out of her school uniform to change into her clothes to go out for the night with him. And everybody was going, that's not right.
Yeah, I mean, like if you think about it when you were a kid, right, or when you were a
Yeah.
teenager, and if there was
No
some
names.
guy who was dating, if there was a girl that you knew in school or in your friend circle, and she was going out with, the 23-year-old who was driving the Ford Capri, he always looked like a maggot, right? There was always something about that guy that was questionable.
Like, why are you targeting a kid?
Yeah, why? But back in the 80s and 90s, people who were like, "Oh, nice car," and he's going, "Yeah, it helps me get all the young chicks." Right?
Oh.
But
It's odd.
what about an 18-year-old guy, right, who's with a 29-year-old woman?
Oh, stop.
No, I'm just saying that happens all
That's
the
not
time.
a 15-year-old.
But
First of all-
okay, so let's say 16-year-old
First
guy.
of all, he's 18. I think a 16-year-old guy who's with a 29-year-old woman is wrong.
Yeah.
And there's been cases of that where
schools and
school
teachers,
teachers have
yeah.
actually been in a relationship with there isn't.
So where do you stand on Macron then?
Look,
But she was his teacher.
yeah, she
was his geography
but
teacher.
they weren't in a relationship when she was his teacher.
Who
right?
says?
Well, they
Ah,
weren't.
Jesus.
It's not proven. Don't go there. No,
Candace Owens.
We allegedly.
No, hang on. Something, because it's not proven. Like, why would you go back to your geography teacher years later when you're of a sexually advanced age? You clearly fancied her when she was teaching you about how big the Pyrenees were.
Jesus.
So it's a geography.
Yeah, but I
big.
think. Look, the reality is, if they want to do that, I don't really have a problem with it. If they're consenting adults, that's fine. I think if it's playing out and there's a minor, right, whether it's a boy or a girl, it's wrong, and you need help.
So what about then if there's a 16-year-old girl, right, with a 30-year-old boy, and they say,
That would be a man.
Man, yeah, that would be a man. Probably a boy. And then, but they go, well, we'll hang on for a while. And then when she's 23 and he's 37, or let's say, for instance...
This is very tenuous.
No, but I'm saying, I just chatting. Let's say me, I'm 64, right? What if I met now, in 2 years' time, a 40-year-old? Would that be weird?
No.
Well, that's
because
24.
That's not a minor. They're not underage.
No,
They're
but
not
it's 24
children.
years the difference.
It's very young, though. 40's very young. It's very young.
Yeah, Rebecca considers herself a minor.
The minor. Very young. I can't believe you're laughing.
Plus, if you've pulled a 40-year-old in like 2 or 3 months, we'll be all high-fiving you.
We wouldn't be here. We would not
I
be
mean,
here.
listen, you're messaging some man about a bit of business tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So you're right at the end of the barrel.
That's called lunch, man.
All right.
Yeah.
I think. Look, the age gap when you're older doesn't matter. I mean, my wife is 5 years older than me.
Yeah, look at De Niro.
I don't.
I know Pacino, isn't he with a 29-year-old?
I think that's weird.
And he's just had a baby?
I think that's actually wrong. I actually think
It
that
went
gets,
from weird to wrong.
that gets into the realms of child abuse.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
It's child abuse for the child.
Yeah, because
still
the
got a
child's
mother.
going to grow up without a father, without somebody who's actively involved in his life. I think that's a
She's
vanity
going to get all his
parade.
money, and some of his other kids are fine. They can
Money
just
isn't
step in.
everything in life. I think it's a vanity parade. I think it's like it's a trinket. I have a kid. My sperm still works. I don't think it's good.
I got to say, it is slightly unfair. Sports day is going to be a mess. Him being pushed up and down the wheelchair,
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so that's... What age is the kid now? 5 or 6 or something?
I do think it's a form of child abuse. I think
Do you
there should be actually a cut-off age where you can stop people
That's
stop having kids.
interesting.
There should be a cut-off age.
Yeah.
Now, what if you're... What's the cut-off age? I just want to check here.
You've passed it.
But what is the cut-off age?
So hang on.
Yeah,
Cameron Diaz is 53 and she had a child at the weekend. So we're going to talk about this in the after show. I'll let you at it. But
she was...
that's so interesting. Are women also to be given a cutoff age?
Well,
Well, I
Cameron
think
Diaz,
nature gives women a
who's
cut-off
always
age.
had a special place in my heart. So I would extend the cut-off age now, as we've mentioned her, to 55.
But sorry, Mother Nature...
What a male podcast.
Mother Nature has a cut-off age for women
Because
anyway.
we don't know if she had it via surrogacy.
Oh,
frozen
apparently
eggs.
she-
We don't know, and I'm just speculating.
But-
or she had it naturally. So actually, no, it doesn't, because some women can boom them on out.
Okay, but Mother Nature generally has a cut-off age for women, but doesn't have it for men. So what is Mother Nature saying to men and to women?
When I was 22, I met Cameron Diaz.
Here we go.
Wow.
Is that when you were in Boyzone?
No.
You were on tour.
I met two extraordinary things happened on the same day. It was the first time I'd ever been in a car that had satellite navigation.
Oh, this is just the greatest nerd story ever that you're going to associate Cameron Diaz
hang on, let me
with
take a break.
sat-nav. Yeah. Okay, go on.
So this car had satellite navigation. I was being driven to her house by her advisor, who was an old client of mine.
It's in the States.
No, this was in London.
Okay.
And she lived in Surrey. So I was quite amazed by the fact that this car had satellite navigation, but I didn't know who we were going to go and see because he needed my help on some advice.
Okay.
So we arrived at this house, and as I walked into the house, I saw on the wall photographs of Cameron Diaz. And I remember saying, "Oh, how's Cameron Diaz?" And then I turned around and I went,
There's Cameron Diaz.
there's Cameron Diaz.
Wow.
And like this was like something about Mary
Did
time.
you hug her?
I can't remember. I definitely stumbled with my words, which I'm not. I'm usually quite confident, but she was extraordinarily beautiful in the flesh. Hard
She
to
was
believe that
completely
she's
in the
53
flesh.
and having
It's a
kids.
nice way to answer the door, isn't it?
She knew I was coming.
Well, you clearly were. You were of that age. It would only take 30 seconds.
20 seconds.
Wasn't it the jizz in the hair? Or something
yeah.
about Mary?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the one.
She's very tall, right?
She's very tall. She was extraordinarily beautiful. So
How long did you stay with her?
well, until the police came, took me away.
I came in through the bedroom windows. Yeah.
I don't know. We were there for a few hours.
Yeah, yeah. And did she take your advice? Are we able to get the advice out?
I can't possibly comment on that. At
It will
this
never
point.
cease to amaze me that at 22 you were advising Cameron Diaz as advisor. Like, how smart are you and what the fuck are you doing here? Like, what?
About a year before that, he was auditioning for Boyzone.
No, that was 3 years.
Okay,
prior.
you're right.
And then attacked by a bear before
Yeah.
starting creating SatNav. Like, wow, Justin.
Yeah.
Who
Actually,
are?
the year before, I got assaulted in Night Owls in Ranelagh.
I remember
for
that,
my
yeah.
21st birthday, and then to go to your house.
Yeah. I had to go down and get your coat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And our nieces, your cousin. Yeah. That
So
was,
on one hand, you're kind of still doing stuff that's kind of mad, and on the other hand, yeah, that period with Cameron Diaz. But she was absolutely stunningly beautiful. I also only from a distance because my chairman rented his house out to Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie around about 2014 in Malta, and I saw Angelina Jolie, and I have to say,
What are you doing with your hands? Be careful.
I'm gesticulating
Oh, Joe,
to,
wow.
to enhance her beauty, but she was kind of like, you know, people will talk and you read about how people spoke about Cleopatra. She was just
really?
an extraordinary, like skin tone, just at a level that you can't really describe. It just makes us all realize, the rest of us, how pasty and awful we are.
I remember
compared to these hotties.
in the mid 80s, I met Dana, and she was nothing like that.
No, it never was.
Wow. Wow, what a stretch.
Yeah, I know. But she was, I couldn't figure out. She was like all kinds of everything, you know.
But back to
Somebody got the reference there, the lyrical reference.
okay. Back to
Dirty talk.
dirty talk in the office.
Yeah.
Right? So are you an advocate for a bit of how's your father talk in the office?
Yes, once it's reciprocal.
And how would one know if it's going to be reciprocal? Because obviously you'd have to drop the clanger first and hope that
You should
it'll be
never drop
reciprocated.
your clanger in front of somebody. But what would happen was you'd slowly warm up to it over the years, and you'd realize that the other person is okay with it, or the group that you're in, like the group that I'm in, and especially the breakfast show crew and that, we're all okay with it. I mean, Rebecca's in that group as well. We're all okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me, you don't want to be.
No, as in it's bad, right?
No, but it is bad, but
it's a
okay.
safe space, right?
Yes,
but
there
we
you go. It's a safe
sorry,
space.
Sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
just to
yeah.
caveat that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
As in, it's bad, like we just go there, but I think you're right. There's an understanding of friendship and a safe and history. Whereas I think
Yeah.
if you just came in cold tomorrow and I was to work on that show and said something, I don't think it's safe.
Oh my God! If some of the stuff we said to each other was said to somebody who just walked in the door, you'd be dragged out to HR.
I mean, I would say it's abusive sometimes. Like sometimes I'm just like, oh fuck off, calm. Like but I think it's that early hour as well. You have to be comfortable.
Yeah. Once you're comfortable with them, I know. Again, I'll go back to the previous radio station that I won't name, but they're named after 3 letters. But they, there was a particular famous presenter who just happened during an ad break or something to tell a particular joke to a PA, and innocent, slightly sexual, but innocent, and there was a full sort of thing in front of HR, and then. The person was told to keep their distance from the person. So if they were coming down the corridor, they were to go a different way.
So in 2026, in any environment, you cannot speak or tell a slightly, somewhat sexual joke to anybody.
Yes, you can.
Well,
Yes, you can. We
no,
do it all the time.
I know, but that's an environment in which you guys live in.
No.
In the rest of the world, you can't do that anymore.
I don't necessarily agree. I think if you're in, let's say, maybe a small office, and you've all been there for a number of years, and you find it a safe space that you can do that, and maybe and have a bit of ribbing and whatever, and everyone knows that's all it is.
Yeah.
I think if it's in a big office and it's an environment where you don't really know the other people too well, yes, you absolutely have to be careful.
Okay, spoken like a boomer, but I think in reality,
No,
right?
no,
you're
no,
just going to get
no, no.
sued today.
Sorry, there's a person over there that's not a boomer.
No, well,
and would say,
I'm not saying that you guys don't do it, right?
Yeah.
But the point is that in today's environment, the problem is you've got two things going on. People have to get pulled into this banter because they think, oh, I better just get on with it, just in case I'm ostracized. So the banter continues on, but actually, it can be problematic. I think we're in such a litigious environment right now that it's just avoided. And I would say in companies that I work in and businesses that I interface with, HR will be all over you for that.
I've
Well,
done
it's
HR courses just recently because I was in a big company, and it was interesting sitting there because obviously in your rapport groups in work, you all have a little silo. You work in silo, and it was interesting to hear, which is kind of what Justin's touching on. So, say I'm working opposite Colm in this big office, and we have a great relationship, and Deirdre does as well. But say this person over here really doesn't, and like you've said, it kind of gets involved. Apparently, the person who's listening and affected mentally by my crap talk to you is the one that can. So you might be cool. You go home and you're like, I don't care that Rebecca slagged my hair or we spoke about willies. I don't care because Rebecca and I have always spoken like that. But if she is affected by that, she can go and take a massive case.
yeah, but
so it's
that's
a knock on.
no, I get that, and you know, there are safe environments where you can just be yourself and talk the way you want to talk, and it's with friends like you would. But I would know that out in the main office, we wouldn't talk like that.
I think it's personality based jobs as well. Like
It's very much the media as well.
I spoke to a very senior person today, and we had a chat that was definitely off mic in a studio space that I know he would not want to have heard other ears to hear. And I think you have to feel safe in those environments to talk about things like that and then record. So I do think broadcasting safe spaces, mics on, mics off, is very different to sitting in a corporate environment and going, do you still have an STI, Jemima? Like, it's just, you're not going to do that.
No, unless you
I
know
would.
Jemima well, and you knew
And you
that-
gave it to
that
her.
you gave it to her.
Or you're intending to be, with her later on. that
Interpersonal
evening.
with her, yeah.
Yeah.
And you could go to HR. Can you just check Jemima's file there? How's the cream? Is it working? Yeah, I just think it depends on every different environment. I mean, you look at the
Jemimas that I've known generally, it's
pretty
quite, it's quite
safe,
an English London name.
yeah.
They're always very hot. I don't think I've ever met like
God.
an unattractive Jemima.
Well, see,
It's almost like you choose a name for a child, and you got to think, okay, you got to look at, like, it's like mom and dad look at each other and go, well, we're pretty hot, so I think we should go with something safe like Jemima. Or if it's a guy and he's going to be like, a successful sportsman, Tiger.
Tiger, yeah.
Jemima Puddle Duck is all I can think of.
Or it's what?
Puddle Duck.
Puddle Duck's a lovely name.
No, Jemima Puddle Duck.
Oh, who's
that?
she?
She was in Peter Rabbit.
Yes,
So I
knew
there's
this was.
nothing sexual about
there was
Jemima.
something-
'Cause I picked it because she was Puddle Duck.
There was something in my head going, I know Jemima. I was thinking of a puppet. Is there a puppet called Jemima?
Maybe.
Did your man hang out
Jemima
with a
Khan, married to Imran Khan.
That's right. Well,
Very attractive
yeah,
woman.
Yeah. Now,
She is very attractive.
But the classic song from Johnny Cash, A Boy Named Sue. So they decided to name their son Sue. So therefore he'd have a tough, he'd have to toughen up in school and toughen up in life. And by the end, he'd either have a really good job or be a drag artist.
But I remember, I think names are helpful. Like I remember,
They are. You're really helpful. As in the tone of names.
in the determination of your outcome. I remember being in my first few days of secondary school, right? And like literally maybe day one or day two, not knowing anybody. And these two guys said to me, one of them said to me, oh, what's your name? And I went, Justin. And he said, oh yeah, that's a really gay name.
That's a hot guy name, I would say.
Hmm?
I'd say that's a hot guy name, Justin.
Justin.
Yeah, I don't know.
Surfy.
Well, it certainly wasn't in
A gay
1980.
name.
In the north side Dublin.
Northside Dublin.
Yeah.
So you start off with
Just in, just out, shake it all about.
yeah, what you call a man with a small willy.
Yeah.
But you start off with having to defend yourself from just by having a name that people go, oh, it's a bit gay. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being gay,
Or even a bit gay.
it's like when you're not fully gay, you're not fully heterosexual.
What is it? I help out on the weekends.
I'm just a bit stuck.
I'm a bit straight. I'm a bit gay. Yeah.
But then you have to fight your corner. So it meant that you're on a back foot straight away just because your name.
So you'd be straight out and hit them with your handbag.
Slap them right across the face with my glove.
Once I got out of the north side, nobody could ever pronounce my name. Like people just did not know the name Colm. They just can't say Colm. If you go down to Munster, they go Colm. And then no matter who you're ringing in on, they go Colin. And you go, no, Colm.
Drives me
Colin.
mad.
No, Colm. Colin. No, you go, think Roman Colum. Colin.
Colin's so good in the mornings, Bex, with Lucy. I'm like,
You
it's
just
not
give
Colin.
up.
It actually drives me
Yeah,
nuts.
I know, you just give up.
But I'm so glad because you and our other sister, Grania.
What do you mean our other? Oh, I thought I was a sister. Sorry, the way you said that.
Well, you are. I mean, we have discussed the fact that you do look a bit like a lesbian at times.
Okay.
Especially with that
Look
shirt.
a bit like it's actually been a bit gay as well.
You
He's
look
a bit gay,
like,
sometimes
you
a bit
look
lesbian.
a bit like the kind
Yeah,
of the,
yeah.
the kind of masculine part of the lesbian.
Are you calling me a lesbian bus driver?
Yes. But I think the naming is important, right? So your column, our other sister's Grania.
Yeah.
So basically, you two are stuck living in this country forever. 'Cause
Australia,
it just does
yeah.
not transfer
Yeah,
overseas.
yeah.
Whereas I got Justin,
Yeah.
we have a Brian, and we have a Miriam. And we all left, and we all went and lived overseas.
Yeah, I couldn't.
So three of us who had names that transferred could leave. Because you had these kind of Oskelga difficult names, you both stayed.
You get turned back at passport control all the time in the UK.
You can't leave the country with a name like that.
Yeah, it is. It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, just the last thing as well. So, this week saw, and if you're watching this in a year's time, it doesn't matter. It saw.
Why did you not watch it when it was out first?
Yeah. And it's too late to tell us now because it's a year later and one of us could be dead.
Oh.
Oh, that's very sad, isn't it?
It's
Yeah,
really
isn't it?
dark.
Just a bit dark.
My money's on here.
I knew he was going to say that. Not if I get to you first. But anyway, Patrick Keelty, Late Late Show, it's all finished. It's all over. Apparently he hasn't signed a contract. Nobody wants to do it. It's like the poison chalice now. The Late Late Show is irrelevant. We did this on air last week because it was the last one. And just as a matter, Lucy and myself threw it out. Yes or no, is the Late Late Show relevant? It was probably one of the biggest uptakes that we'd done on anything on the morning show.
Okay, so I think for our audience that are not Irish, and that's quite a considerable one, the Late Late Show is actually the longest running television show in the world.
Yes.
Right? It's quite extraordinary. It's gone now at least 50 years, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
Since the beginning
61,
of,
I think.
Beginning
of
of
our-
time. Since
of our
beginning
national
time.
broadcaster. It's an institution in terms of society, and on a Friday night it goes on for about 19 hours,
Because you have 9:30 to 11:30. But in the old days,
and it's quite eclectic in terms of what happens in that.
Oh,
anything could
rape victim, politician, someone down from the north to talk about Republic and Westlife. Like, it's the most
Yeah.
bizarre format.
and stand-up comedians, that's where they get their first break. And then you try to say something controversial, like Tommy Tiernan did the gag about Jesus on the cross, and nobody knew who Tommy Tiernan was. And after that, everybody he just shot out of the starters.
I mean, I think, look, there's obviously people who watch it, right?
340,000 apparently.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so and again, in commensurate size to our population, that's probably 5% of the population
Yeah.
watch the show on
Yeah.
a Friday night. If you had that kind of similarity on CNN or
On this
NBC,
podcast.
it'd be massive, right? Or this podcast would be great. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we could then not have to sell ourselves to Sam Altman. But if you have that level of support, then people do like the show. And I'm sure like there's people who are, just don't have anything else going on Friday night. I think it's probably older people. I mean, I'm surprised you don't like it. Who
don't like it
are
at all, no.
drawn to it.
Yeah.
And probably like knitting. When you were talking about knitting last week, so
Yeah, it
probably
was
like
actually,
knitting
yeah.
and watching Patrick Keelty. Frankly, I don't care who takes over or
They
what
say
happens
Ryan
to it.
Tuberty might be back.
No, he won't. I will go down to Paddy Powers now and put €1,000 on him not being back. Absolutely. And then there's a lot of people saying it's a time now just to change the format. But RTE are such a big old beast, that like if they are getting 5% and they're still getting good money for advertising, in fairness, if I was the program director there, I'd go, why would we change it?
You just wouldn't change it.
Don't change it. Just keep wheeling in Westlife all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And give it to Oliver Callan. That's my money. I'm telling you, my money is Oliver Callan or Brendan O'Connor. Brendan O'Connor. But again, the last time I watched it, it was Pat Kenny. I didn't watch, and Tubbs is my mate, but I just it's not there at 9:30 on a Friday night for me to be bothered, But and if they offer it to me, no.
That is complete nonsense.
Horseshit. Like,
Wow, hello. No, I wouldn't.
No, you might say
So
no.
now
You
Terry's
might,
giving the thumbs up to me.
you might say no here, but actually your ego would be already
Your
driving
bank
the car
account.
on the way to sign your contract.
I would say that the hassle that you would get if you decide to
You
be
and Lucy
the
should do
late,
it.
late
You
show.
would
yeah.
love a bit of hassle.
No, I wouldn't. And the paparazzi trying to climb over my
Come on,
2-inch
I love
electric
that.
gates.
The paparazzi stumbling over your little.
Do you know
2
who
foot
I'd
electric
give it
gate.
to? If they really wanted to keep the tradition of what it is, I would give it to the greatest radio host of morning radio. Who do you think that is?
Ian Dempsey.
No, he's long school RTE. There's only one man. He has a tash.
Marty Whelan.
Yes.
Oh my God.
He's the only man in Ireland I would give it to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the radio show?
Hey,
Right, this
will
is not so
wrap it
Christian
up
Brothers.
there.
Thank
Dirty
you
talk
for-
in the office, and this is an office space, but it's not safe. Okay, follow us on Instagram, Not So Christian Brothers, and like this and subscribe it, and tell all your friends about it. And we're sorry, Sam Altman. Yes.
Come and buy us.
Okay, and the after show is up on Sunday. Thanks for watching.